Hello, everyone, and thank you all for joining us during the Lytham Partners Winter 2021 Investor Conference. My name is Ben Shamsian, Vice President of Lytham Partners. During this fireside chat, we welcome Innocan Pharma, ticker symbol INNO on the Canadian Stock Exchange and INNPF on the OTC. Presenting from Innocan is Bincovich, CEO. Before we begin, for those not familiar, Lytham Partners is one of the country's leading investor relations firms. With more than 2 decades of corporate access experience, we have built one of the industry's most diverse and effective platforms for connecting small cap companies with high quality and focused institutional investors while creating a framework of best practices in all aspects of investor relations. Today's fireside chat is hopefully yet another example of where we can bring value to multiple constituents. We will dive into questions in a moment, but one final item. I want to remind everyone that Innocan is available for one-on-one meetings later this week. If you've not already signed up, please send me an email at shamsian@lythampartners.com. That's SHAMSIAN@lythampartners.com, or visit lythampartners.com/virtual and click the one-on-one meeting request button. With that said, let's begin. Hi, Iris. Let's start with you providing a brief overview of the company and your background.
Thank you. Innocan is a public company. We have 3 different kinds of activity and 3 growth pillars. The first one is our injectable cannabinoids, which I think we are the only company who does CBD delivery by injections. This enables prolonged release by one injection, but we will elaborate a bit later. The second is we load CBD and other cannabinoids on byproduct of stem cells known as exosomes. And the third one is our patent pending topicals that consist of specific skin condition solutions and a premium line of cosmetic products. The company is founded by myself and co-founder, namely Ron Meron, who was the CEO of Teva Israel for over 21 years. Yoram Drucker, he's an Israeli entrepreneur who was the co-founder of Brainstorm and Floristem, among others. And Nir Avram, a leading scientist who worked on the innovation team of Perigo. Innocan was established about 3.5 years ago. We got 2 years ago, we were listed on the CSE, and we have been traded, as said, in Canada, the US, and in Germany as well.
Okay, great. So the problem you're trying to solve is low viability of the current CBD formulation. Why is it so low, and how does Innocan help here?
So I think it's much wider. It's the low bioavailability of cannabinoids in general, being an oil molecule, which is not really dissolved. We see a lot of cases of a lack of efficacy or consistency when using the various types of the cannabinoids. What is happening is the body has a hard time to absorb. It doesn't matter if we vape or smoke or take in by different kinds of oil phase. Actually, 80% is being destroyed by enzymes of the liver. So we get only between 15 and 20% available. And after 8 hours, there is no traces in the blood. So this is what we are trying to avoid, prevent, and provide a better delivery system by developing a unique delivery platform.
Okay, so you have 3 avenues. You have 3 avenues for attacking this problem. Talk about, before we delve into it more specifically, how do you plan on generating revenue and sort of the time period here?
We are working with the leading universities in Israel. The strategy of Innocan is to do proof of concept in animals and then out-license this per indication to different pharma companies. We are developing a platform, not just one delivery product. The platform is suitable for a unique range of indications, starting with CNS, which is a wide field that can benefit from exact dosing and prolonged release of the cannabinoids, going to post-COVID syndromes, pain. We all know about GW, who have FDA-approved drugs for epilepsy. So eventually, we believe that within the 12 to 18 months, we will initiate a licensing discussion with at least one of the indications that we have been working on.
Okay, great. So let's begin with the injectable delivery system. Help us understand what liposomes are and how you manage a targeted attack in this area.
So let's think about the old people, senior people who have to smoke the flowers in order to have some kind of relief, pain relief, or kids that have to swallow the oil. So imagine a scenario that instead of taking twice or 3 times a day, you would have one injection that will enable controlled release of CBD or cannabinoids into the blood for 1 month. This is what we are developing with the Hebrew University in Jerusalem. It's a liposome, it's a kind of a capsule that composed of several layers of lipids that lock inside the cannabinoids. Again, this system, by one injection, allows control, consistent release into the bloodstream. Actually, in the FDA, there are 15 drugs based on this delivery platform for different indications. We are working with Professor Chazi Bernholz from the Hebrew University in Jerusalem, which is the co-developer of Duxil. Duxil is an anti-cancer drug licensed by Johnson & Johnson, which is getting royalties and nice numbers from his development. It was expired, and he already got approval from the FDA for the generic Duxil and out-licensed this as well. So this system, it's for specific skin conditions, for specific disease that will benefit from consistent release into the bloodstream. We've just published recently, we shared information that we injected into dogs, and we know that they behave similar to human beings. So imagine a scenario, instead of giving a dog twice a day for different kinds of indication, he will go to the vet, he will get one injection, and we will see an effective administration of the CBD.
Okay, thank you. You talked about some of the indications that this indication, the injectable delivery is good for. Can you expand on that a little bit?
In general, we are talking again about the CNS, epilepsy, pain, and for post-COVID syndromes. For the other indication, at this stage, this is what we can elaborate on.
Got it. Okay, so let's move on to the CBD-loaded exosome therapy, right? Help us understand what exosomes are and what indications is that helpful for?
So if we talk about the liposome for prolonged release and very easy administration, here the exosomes are bypass of stem cells. They are a new upcoming nano-delivery platform from different kinds of pharma indications. Their uniqueness is that they have ability to target damaged cells. So they are targeting damaged cells, starting their healing process, regeneration. we load them with cannabinoids, so we have a synergistic effect of regeneration, healing, and anti-inflammatory. So the indications could be epilepsy, Alzheimer's, autism, different kinds of CNS disease. And this is going to be by a nasal spray, targeting and working on the damaged cells. And the other by inhalation for post-COVID. We see increased number of indications of post-COVID syndromes, which the exosomes will assist in healing the cells, so generation, creation of new cells, and the CBD would reduce inflammation. This project is being developed in collaboration with the Tel Aviv University and Professor Danny Offen, who's leading the research and development.
Okay, great. Before we move on to the topicals, you're looking for licensing deals on the first two platforms. Help us understand other deals that have been done in the space. Have they been in preclinical, such as yourself? What kind of dollar amounts we're talking? Help us understand a little bit here. So
the exosomes have been quite attractive to big pharma companies. We see Takeda having collaboration with the Evox, Lonza purchasing Codivic ability to produce exosomes. All those transactions had been done in a very early stage, preclinical, like Innocan stage. The transactions are with a 50 billion, 1.5 billion, very high numbers, which are lately common in the pharma industry. A lot of pharma companies are seeking startups with innovation technology and actually are fighting between themselves in order to have access to innovations. And they're willing to pay higher prices than what happened maybe 5 or 7 years ago. So this environment is very lucky for Innocan. We have very unique platforms. We have patents protecting them. And we're working with the leading institute and leading professors on the fields. So as indicated previously, the intention is to do some kinds of out-licensing discussions and initiate this in 2022.
And I can imagine the longer you wait and the more data you have, the higher that price will be. Is that fair to say?
This is exactly the situation. We just has also finished fundraising in the States from different institutionals. And this really allows us to increase the R&D spending. And this is a plan for 2022 in order to achieve in as fast as much possible the milestone that we have discussed. So yes, we have enough money for now in order to execute our plans, and we have patience.
Okay, let's move on to the topicals piece. That's where most I would say customers know you by. Where are we in terms of commercialization? What do you expect in 2022? Help us understand that piece.
So Innocan has a lot of knowledge regarding developing unique portfolio of topicals. We have 14 families of patents application covering different skin conditions, namely pain relief, psoriasis, anti-itch, diabetics, hair loss, and different applications. I would like to elaborate regarding the first portfolio that we are launching. It's a patent pending pain relief topicals. Already product has been produced. We have secure distribution licensing of course, everything was delayed by the COVID, but now it's ramping up again. I cannot indicate numbers for the upcoming, but they're backed by patents, by highly efficacy that was validated in clinical evaluation. So 2022, based on the ongoing discussions, are going to be very promising.
Okay, thank you. You touched on the sort of the balance sheet and the burn rate a little bit. Let's talk about that. What does your balance sheet look like right now? What is your burn rate and your thoughts on further capital?
So you always raise. I'm in a position now to raise on my terms. We have enough in the bank to execute our milestone. But you know, the fundraising is based on the conditions. We have over $11 million in our bank account. We are not now finalizing the plans for 2022. As for last financial data, the average spend per money is about $400,000 per month. Regarding the cap table, there's no preferred shares. We have about basic outstanding 248 million shares. No debt. We talked about the cash. So, and the valuation in the market, it's about US $180 million.
Okay, great. Iris, thank you very much for your time today. We greatly appreciate it. To anyone out there who has not already signed up for a one-on-one, please send me an email at shamsian@lythampartners.com. That's SHAMSIAN@lythampartners.com, or again, visit lythampartners.com/virtual and click the one-on-one meeting request button. We all hope you have a great conference and a great rest of the day. Thank you.